Hey, Pumpkin.
Hey,
How y'all
Pop.
doing?
Hey,
Before we get started, Brian, I must say, I know you are very critical of your work, but I really enjoy the things that you've been putting together.
Yes,
Really,
that was
really,
nice.
thank you.
really. Yes,
Mhm.
really.
Thank you.
How's everyone doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, not too
That's why
bad.
I got a little sore throat. Not sick, just a
Oh,
sore
oh,
throat.
oh, yeah. Please know I've been corrected. Just a sore throat or a tingly
Mhm.
throat doesn't necessarily mean you're getting sick. However, it was confirmed that I guess it was inferred that the reason why your throat might have been tingling is for another reason. However, it was confirmed that you were not engaging in that. So then I'm
Absolutely.
I go back to my original thought that you must be getting a little under the weather.
I just want to let you know, and this is,
Don't do it
I don't do them things anymore, sweetheart.
anymore, or never did.
No, I've done it, but I choose not to do it now because I don't have to.
Mm.
My hot pocket is enough.
Child, man.
That
Yeah.
was not what I expected to hear today in the first 2 minutes.
Man,
You're a hot
why would
pocket.
I be pushing?
You're a hot pocket. Oh,
Pocketbook, whatever, but it's enough.
okay. I mean, but
Mm. What you
I
got?
guess what was the preempt to the hot pocket? You just go right in with it.
Oh no, it has to warm up like an easy bake oven. You gotta warm up,
So
baby.
here's the thing. When you say hot pocket, the problem with that analogy is the
That it's
thing that comes to
cold.
mind when I think of a hot. No, that it's fucking burning your mouth and it isn't that good in the end. Like,
It's moist, Brian. God damn
it's moist. Okay, I got
Moist.
it.
it's
Would
moist.
that'd be more like a cake then, huh?
That too. Right and ready, baby. Right and ready.
Man. Okay. Well, do
Hey,
you,
punk.
boo?
Hey, pumpkin.
What's your shirt say? Pray for me. I'm what?
I'm petty.
I'm petty. There you
Yes.
go. Yep,
Big,
definitely.
big Reggie had bought it for me, so I said it was real
It was
nice to
fitting.
wear today.
It was fitting. You're
Hmm.
absolutely correct. Absolutely
Yes.
correct.
God is not done working on me, baby.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Man. All right. So y'all ready to get into it? There's a lot of things going on right now.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, not all the things that are going on right now are good things,
Right.
but
Yeah.
things nonetheless.
Hmm.
All right, so let's get into this first little story.
Do you guys remember the elementary school janitor who did things like put his own feces in the taco meat that was going to be served to the kids and sprayed bleach all over the cucumbers? Well, he's finally been sentenced. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this case, here are the details. His name is Giovanni Impellizzeri, and at the time, he was 25 years old. He had worked at the Elizabeth F. Moore School in the Upper Deerfield District since 2019. On October 30th, 2023, school officials received an anonymous tip from somebody saying that they were in a Telegram group with him and that he was posting pictures and videos of himself doing things at school. That person had saved 23 pictures and 9 videos and sent them all in to the school and police. And hang on tight for this, here are some of the things he had been doing. One video showed him urinating onto a beanbag chair, which turned him on, so then he ended up pleasuring himself with that beanbag chair until he was finished. He was also urinating on pillows that the kids use. Another video showed him spraying Clorox bleach into bowls of cucumbers that were going to be served to the kids, spitting on them, putting more bleach on them, and then covering them up with plastic. Another video showed him taking hot dog buns, credit card swiping them up and down his ass crack, and then wiping them all over his front and the underneath part and all over. He then spit on them, put them back, and they got served to the kids. He also took kitchen utensils and wiped them all over his junk. And of course, those utensils were used to cook and serve the food. And then, like I said in the very beginning of the video, he took craps in the taco meat. Now, back to the cucumbers. In messages posted onto the social media app, he states, "Honestly, I put bleach in their food before. They were fine, just a little sick. Oh well, not my problem." He also indicated, I'm very sick in the head. I admit that. And he indicated they had taco meat before and I put some poop in there and mixed it in and nobody knew the difference. They ate that shit right up. Now, over the course of the investigation, police didn't just find pictures and videos of stuff he had done at school, but they also found that he possessed child SA material. He was arrested on October 31st and charged with third degree attempting to endanger the welfare of a child, third degree endangering the welfare of a child, third degree aggravated assault, 2 counts of third degree tampering with food products, second degree official misconduct, and third degree possession of child SA material. After all of this came to light, police collected fluids and DNA from him to make sure he didn't have anything infectious that he could have given to the kids. Parents were saying that their kids would have diarrhea, vomiting, all kinds of symptoms, and they would just think it was a stomach bug. Thankfully, he didn't have anything. So here's the update. He ended up taking a deal and got most of the charges dropped. He pleaded guilty to the second degree official misconduct and the third degree possession of child SA material, and he was sentenced to 8 years in prison, but he's eligible after 5 for parole.
What y'all think of that?
8 years would not have been enough.
Absolutely not.
So he was boo-booing in the people in the
Taco
food?
meat. Ugh.
Wow, this is craziness. I mean, I'm
But
sure when
the
you see
background checks are not, they're not doing what they need to be doing.
what you
He's
mean.
saying he was crazy. He was already saying he had mental issues.
Would that come up in a background check?
Maybe if he'd been treated. I don't know.
Well,
Okay.
I will say maybe it would need to. Maybe instead of just a background check, it is a, are you sane enough to be around children?
That's right.
Like,
Wow. And it doesn't sound like he have any remorse. But what is child SA?
Sex tapes.
Oh.
yeah, that's how I interpreted it.
Mm-hmm. Like sex stuff, you know, with kids involved. But 8 years, like, I'm like, how did they only give him 8 years and 5 possibly getting out on parole? Like, this is the thing. The parents are saying, hey, my kids was coming home sick. We just thought it was a virus, because that's what you think. Kids go to school, they get sick. You don't think now the parents probably like, y'all gave this man 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like,
they're probably a little. I'm not a little bit, a lot pissed off by it. And probably feel like he deserved a little bit more. Obviously, and rightfully so. But
you're that sick in the mind to do that, and don't like and tape it, send it to people because you wanted to get caught.
well, I guess my question is: so when he taped it and sent it, why did somebody say something at the time it was happening, or did they wait for him to get caught and then say, "Oh yeah, he was doing this, that, and third"?
From the article that I read, it sounded as if somebody came forward once he had posted it. So he wasn't caught any other way. It was because of what he had posted that he ended up getting caught.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He might not do well in jail though, or prison.
He doesn't want to. I don't care.
Huh?
To be said, I don't care.
Right.
That's
well. When I say meaning don't do well, it's not that I'm wishing him well that he's
right.
but I'm just saying I can imagine that. I know they should say that people that do stuff to kids don't fare well in prison and stuff like that. So
they probably put them separate somewhere. They probably don't leave them in general population.
Well, why would they need to separate him?
Because they know somebody gonna do something to him.
But he would deserve it.
Oh, you know how that goes.
Yeah, he would deserve it. So do the crime, do the time in any way that it comes.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Brian?
I was just going to say they have to do a bare minimum to make it look like they are protecting him, and then we'll eventually end up back in general population.
Mm-hmm. And then he'll probably die then, but initially.
And I'm not. That's the way you said it. And then he'll probably die then.
Ain't nobody gonna forget. They gonna be counting the days when he get back out into general population. So they're gonna have to protect him. for the first couple of months, years, whatever. But he's gonna get protected. That's fucking unfortunate. Ooh.
Yeah. You're right. All right, well, switching gears a little bit, not too far away from a little away from this type of stuff, but definitely still dealing with today's youth. So there was recently a young man that was assaulted in a New York subway station. And according to his mom, she was like, he's well-mannered, good kid, and all this kind of stuff. So, of course, as any parent would say, well, not say as any parent would say, but, she's wondering, like, what would happen? Why did this happen to her kid? All right, so we don't have the video, but I'll play the audio of the report. At least I was going to.
He's well-mannered, and I drive my son to school every morning.
But Monday morning, Monique White says she let him take the train, and what happened next broke her heart.
I didn't feel well. I said, you're going to go alone. And he left, and he called me, and he said, Mommy, I was jumped.
Cell phone video shows a banana being thrown at her 16-year-old son, Dakari, followed by a group of young men repeatedly kicking and punching him at the Stillwell and Surf Avenue's subway station in Coney Island. Police sources say during the attack, the group was cursing and using racial slurs.
They beat him. They have pictures. They posted pictures of him on the floor. They chased him, and they beat him again at another section of this train station.
At a news conference Friday, civil rights activists, faith leaders, and family prayed and called for more safety measures at the Brooklyn subway station.
Why wasn't her son protected?
It comes as 57-year-old Debrina Kawam died after being set on fire at the Coney Island station in December. Clergy Community Patrol says they will now be making their own rounds on and off the platform.
Countless of incidents has happened.
Even though city data shows subway crime is down, public perception is a different story.
I don't feel safe for my 10-year-old daughter.
To school and back, traveling pairs.
As for Dakari, his mother says his sneakers were taken and he's still home recovering from injuries to his face and head. She says it was a good Samaritan who stepped in and called 911.
I want justice for my son.
And police say a 16-year-old was arrested in connection to this incident. He's being charged with gang assault and robbery, both as hate crimes. If you have any information about this incident or who the other suspects are, you're urged to call police right away. In Brooklyn, Jennifer Bisram, CBS News, New York.
What y'all think?
The NYPD is sharing some.
The thing that stood out to me about that whole situation was the fact that someone had literally been set on fire in that subway station.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any security that was in distance to respond in a reasonable amount of time. That's just shocking to me.
Because that just happened in December, and we just only in the early stage of April. Mm-hmm. So just 4 months ago, somebody got lit on fire and died, and y'all didn't beef up security. And then he just walking to catch the subway, and they jump him and beat him, throw a banana at him, and then beat him. Like 16 years old. And I think about like Pierre being 16, and I remember him walking to the store, to his job, because he was working at the store, and people driving past and calling him a nigga, and he was like, what? Hold on. And we are in 2025, and it still is going on. Mm-hmm. This stuff is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
You keep hearing countless and countless and countless and countless of stories, and it's getting worse. That people are, and I'm not, a lot of it's because I know it's because it's Trump that's in office, and these people are getting very bold. Mm-hmm. And a lady, she was talking about it. She said, this guy, a white guy, she was getting in her car. He spit like from the bottom of his toes, spit on her car, and told her to go back to Puerto Rico. Like, what? You don't even know me.
Yeah.
What are you doing? People are getting crazy, and it's just like, They getting bold. They don't care. You seeing it more and more when you watching TikTok, you on Facebook. People are come up like they'll just walk in front of you like you don't see me, and then be ready to fight you. Like, what's up? I'm like, ma'am, get your ass out of my face.
Girl, we know you can't fight, so yeah.
Oh, I can't, and I and will not. But it's just crazy because people are doing it more and more.
Yeah.
More and more.
It's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate, and and listening to some of the, I think was it Eric Adams. He's been saying that it's been getting safer in New York. Now, of course, and I don't know what metric they're using to determine safer. Because then you hear stories like this, and then you hear stories like the lady getting burnt. I mean, set on fire. I mean,
set on fire.
So
like,
yeah. So one might think as outsiders, because I don't live in New York, so outsiders would say, I mean, I'm looking, I'm like, damn, is it really getting safe? Because to your point, hey, this happened in December, this has happened in April or March, yeah. And so then who's to say what may happen? Some of the other little things, yeah, exactly. So then, is it really safe? And then I don't know, because I mean, at 16, I guess you would be okay to be alone and ride the thing, but I'm like, dang.
Because
it's definitely going to give him something to think about next time. It's up to, do I drive him to school or send him on the subway? Like, that's absolutely going to be at the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, because
what that one teenager said, he said, we travel in pairs.
Yeah.
Like,
that's probably the safest way to do it, yeah. Because it's
unfortunate. It's just crazy because, and then what about the stories we don't hear about?
That's what I'm saying. These stories made headlines or whatever, but what about the what may perceived to be smaller incidents that may have taken place that weren't televised, or somebody didn't feel like it were newsworthy or something like that? And then think about how does stuff like this happen? Like, what time of day was this? I didn't catch what time of day this was, but I'm like, every time I've been to New York and rode the subway, it's always jam packed. So I'm like, when does this take place? In front of a crowd, or what happens?
But they said a good Samaritan stopped it. But then it's one of them things too. Do you get involved? Like, how many people stood back and watched? Because what if they turn on you now because you didn't jump in and try to help them?
So would you have jumped in and tried to help them?
No, sir. 911. Hello. I wouldn't, because I've seen a lot of things in my lifetime, and sometimes you jump in, you be fucked up, and sometimes you don't jump in, and then like this boy probably could have lost his life. But you think about your life too. Because I was seeing it was I don't know if it was in New York, but it was on a bus, and the bus driver beat the shit out of this boy. But the boy was disrespectful. He's like, go sit down. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? He said, he was telling the people on the bus, he said, move back. And that little boy kept talking. He said, you got the right one today. But that man probably lost his job. But he beat the crap out of that boy. And the passengers was like, okay, that's enough. But that boy was unconscious. He was beating the shit out of him. But the bus driver probably like, enough is enough. Like, I'm trying to do my job, and you get on this bus fucking with me.
Yeah.
So
that's something I was going to say earlier, and you kind of touched on it already, Mario. Was I do believe that as a whole, crime is down, things are safer, but I do feel that there's the crimes that do happen are more noteworthy than they used to be. Like, they're more targeted, they're more intended to go viral, they're more like, there's a shock value almost to them. And I don't know if that's just a matter of perception, because we live in a social media world where we see things do in fact go viral, and that's the ones that we pay attention to, or if people are actually premeditating, like, how can I make this as impactful as possible when it goes viral online.
Well, if they were going for that, then I would say they might have hit their goal, because it definitely was newsworthy and it caught the attention of many. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, because in one thing that they said there, like they had pictures of him. I didn't necessarily understand who they were talking about, but it sounded to me like they were talking about the perpetrators took pictures and posted them of
beating
the victim.
him. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I haven't. Did you guys catch? Have they caught these people?
Only one, which was the 16-year-old.
But the rest of them. So I would hope that he ain't on that no snitching type thing and go ahead.
He ain't told. That's why they asking for the public to help, because he didn't tell.
Yeah.
Hopefully they break him down, because everybody involved in that situation needs to be brought to justice in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Oh well. So y'all remember Sean Kingston, don't you?
Yes.
Who would ever thought? I always thought he was kind of corny, actually, myself. As when he had that little song. Did he have more than one song? I remember that one little song he had, and I thought he was kind of corny. Little did I know, he was
scammer
of the worst kind. All right, let's take a look.
I'm not a lawyer, but Sean Kingston and his mom were found guilty on all the counts in their federal fraud trial. And if you're trying to remember what they were even on trial for, don't worry, I got you. Now, before I get into the details, this was a federal trial, which means there were no cameras. But according to reports, the jury deliberated for 3.5 hours. And after the guilty verdicts, Sean Kingston was ordered to house arrest until sentencing, while his 61-year-old mother was taken into custody. So I did a recap on this when the indictment first came out. And if the algorithm didn't serve that to you, here you go. Sean Kingston and his mom got indicted for wire fraud today, and I read through the federal indictment, so let me tell you what's being alleged. And just so we're clear, wire fraud is when you knowingly and intentionally defraud or trick someone into giving you money or property, and you do so under false promises that involve wire communication. And by wire communication, think telephone, text message, internet, that all can get you caught up. So the feds say that Sean Kingston would reach out to vendors using direct messaging on Instagram and other social media platforms to buy vehicles, jewelry, and other goods and services. Once those vendors and Sean Kingston would agree upon the terms of the purchase, he and his mom would move the conversation to text message to confirm the timing of the delivery, the installation, payment, all that kind of stuff. At that point, Sean Kingston would use his celebrity status to persuade the vendors and convince them to deliver these goods or services before he actually paid them. From there, Kingston and his mom would send fake receipts via text messages, making it look like they had transferred or initiated a transfer, when in actuality, they never did. At that point, Kingston and his mom would either discontinue communication with the vendors or claim that additional payments were on the way, and again, never actually sending anything. So there's a chart that really details Sean Kingston and his mom committed this actual wire fraud. First is on May 15, 2023. Text message is sent with a fake bank wire transfer receipt claiming that they transferred $53,000 over to whoever this vendor was for the purchase of a vehicle. 5 months later, October 24th, 2003, a text message is sent including a fake wire transfer receipt in the amount of $285,000 for the purchase of a watch. November 21st, 2023, a text is sent for over $159,000 for the purchase of another vehicle. January 15, 2024, a text is sent containing a fake wire transfer receipt in the amount of $40,000 for the purchase of some AV electronic equipment. And then the final text is sent on March 14, 2024, with a fake wire transfer receipt in the amount of $480,000 for the purchase of 2 watches. And again, these receipts that they're sending are actually fake because they never really sent any money to anybody, even though they had received these cars and watches and jewelry and all of that. If convicted, Sean Kingston and his mom each face up to 20 years in prison on each count. Word to the wise, don't with the feds.
Well, they have been convicted.
Yes.
I think they're waiting on sentencing now, but they have been convicted. I mean, I get the scam. You make these conversations with the people, send a fake receipt, whatever like that. So But then I say on the side of the business.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
You send me a receipt saying that you sent it. I'm not sure I'm going to release the property until I have, because the receipt means in my mind, the receipt means nothing to me until I can check my account
to see the money
and see the money. Do you know what I'm saying? Because what's going to end up being is a back and
forth. He ain't that famous. That's what I was like. How he con y'all out of damn near.
Well, I don't even know if I don't even know if he used his name to do it. I'm not sure.
He used a celebrity.
His celebrity, what the fuck? Like again, a cornball. So why would you? To your point, then why would you give him anything? But hear me out though. Seriously. So when you be like, let's say I'm sending you some money, right? With the first thing you're gonna say is, "Hey, Mario, I didn't get it."
That's right.
And then I'll be like, "Well, I sent it," and you're gonna be like, "Well, I ain't get it." And then I'll be like, "So I'm gonna send you the receipt," and you're gonna still say, I didn't get it. You're not gonna come out. So I'm like, this is high price stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
How you just relinquish the goods and you have not seen any confirmation? I mean, well, I guess confirmation, but you haven't seen nothing tangible.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing to keep in mind with this is we're talking about very high dollar amounts. So we're not talking about Cash App or PayPal. We're talking about wire transfers. Yeah. Those don't tend to happen immediately. And so there's a component to this that probably makes some sense in that they got they were sending fake text messages to confirm the transfer was happening. Mm-hmm. And it was not unusual for it to take a few days for it to actually happen. But when you're talking about that last one was what, $480,000. When it's been a few days and that doesn't come through, you're ringing the alarms.
That's right.
That's
But that's So that's my. But why would you still? So you're gonna give in good faith, give the product or the goods to them.
That's baffling.
That's the part. That's the weird part.
Yeah, I'm like
you ain't get a deposit, you ain't get nothing, and you gave him all of this stuff, cars, watches, like I don't. Who was he dealing with that said, okay, here you go, $400,000 for 2 watches?
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
And if you're saying he uses celebrity for all this, then they needed to be scammed because the fuck, Sean Kingston, come on now. I know that one little corny song ain't his only song, but that's the only one I know, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that say, "Hey, why would you do this?"
Of money to get the product before you get the money. So, what dealers was he dealing with that said, "Here you go. Oh, I didn't get the money yet, but I'm sending it. Oh, right. I still didn't get the money yet. Oh, but he clearly wearing the watches in one of the daggone videos. So." How I don't get that one.
Yeah, they should have been scammed. I hate it for him. However, but let me ask y'all this. Now him and his mom both, convicted, and probably gonna do a little time. I don't know what the sentence is gonna be, but they're gonna do a little time. She's an older woman. He's a younger man. Do you think he should do the time for his mama? Take on her time? Would you do that for your mama?
No, I mean if you were part of it, you're going to go down too.
I wholeheartly agree, Brian. You were part of it. You going down. As a matter of fact, you should take on my time because I have
your life out.
Exactly. I'm youthful still. You know what I'm saying? So you go ahead and do the time. I'll make sure you're taken care of in there. Put money on your books and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's the right thing to do. What say you?
I don't know, because I've done my share of crimes, but if me and my son was doing some criminal things, and he is 40 and I'm 61, Baby, I'm gonna go ahead and take the time for you. Go out there and do some more scams and make sure I got some money on the book. I don't know.
Do some more scams. I'm glad you. I'm glad you said. I'm glad you spoke up and said that you would do the time, because we all know your son's probably going to finagle away that you're going to do the time.
Oh, absolutely, baby. You're gonna go in there and judge. He's an actor, baby. He's gonna have that judge believing, oh, my mama coerced me. She did. And sir, I can show, baby, he done made up a fake phone number and everything, and it's all got my name on it. I'm gonna be in jail asking for a cover. Can I get a cover?
For
no,
cold. You already know. Well, I'm glad you know that, so we all on the same page.
And that's fair.
Man, oh man.
I'm gonna be in there doing the time, honey. I'm gonna be like Martha Stewart making me some noodles on the damn little heater.
I'm quite sure Martha Stewart ain't eating nobody's noodles.
No, baby, she was in there cooking.
Noodles, though?
What do you get in jail, sir?
You got to work with what you have.
Thank you.
I think she probably was able to finagle a way to get something better than noodles.
Right. That's one of those white collar prisons.
Yeah,
I will be where the I'll be making.
You, my friend, are going to be where the noodles are. Yes. Let's not get it. Let's not get it twisted. Yeah. Don't set your sights up too high.
Oh no, baby! I'm gonna be making what's they called what's the bag where they put the nachos and Cheetos and they put and then they heat it up and eat it. What's that, baby? They make it mash. I don't know what it's called.
I'm not familiar. I've never had to do that.
No, but I know people have done
it. Okay, well, I'm gonna take your word for it. Yeah,
baby, they eat it and they say it's good. A bag, a bump, I don't know what it's called, but they put all this stuff in it, and it's supposed to be like a whole meal.
Okay,
but I'll be making gourmet bags.
Oh, okay, all right. Do you, boo? Do you? All right. So this next story has me a little indifferent. So this young man, we'll put him on put his little photograph up here. So he was allegedly going to a job interview, and he left his children, 10, 6, and 1, at the McDonald's for almost 2 hours while he was going to a job interview. After about, I think he dropped him off about 4:30. I think it was about 6:18. Their mother came and picked him up. And everything. And so then the man was arrested for, what is it called? Deprivation of a minor. So this man, he's left him there. He didn't have a car, because my first thought was, why not just put him in the car? You know what I'm saying? But he didn't have a car. So he left McDonald's to kill some time while he went on a job interview. And then he was later arrested. Do you guys think he should have been arrested?
No.
Legally, yes.
No.
Well, let's go with you, Brian. Why do you say yes?
I mean, that's why I distinguish that as legally yes. He did commit a crime like that, but morally speaking, it's very gray, and that's a very hard question to answer. I would wish that we lived in a world where somebody could do that because they're trying to better themselves by going to a job interview, and nothing bad happens. The kids are there, and it's all happy ending in the end. But we don't necessarily live in that world, and there are crazy people out there, and again, he did break a law that exists and exists for a reason. So it sucks, but that's kind of where we are.
All right, Mom Ken, what you say?
No, so the hard part is, like, if he would have left him at home, would he have got arrested? Right? He took him out the house. He took him to McDonald's. had him out the play area. Probably gave him some lunch. Go ahead and play. I'll be back. And let me go do this interview. Somebody fucking nosy was probably like, damn, they've been here for 2 hours. Let me call 911. And where he was at, what was he doing? And he was able to confirm all of them things. And unfortunately, when it comes to having that village or having daycare is high. Yeah. And having a village is it's a lot of times not possible. So now the mother coming, where was she at? She was at work and he out there trying to find a job. He doing an interview. I've been there. So that's where I guess that's my empathetic side. And yes, Brian, to you, the legal side, but my empathetic side, I was him. I had 3 kids. I didn't have babysitters. My son was 8 years old. He was the babysitter. So, and he was 8. Dominique was what, 5? Monet was maybe 2 or 3. But I don't know, and that's a hard thing because even at a job I was working, this girl left her kid in the car, came into work, was working, and somebody walked past the car and see the kid in the car. But the babysitter was on their way to pick the kid up, whatever. And that associate didn't want to be late, so they went into work. And it's like, you feel bad for that, but what if something would have happened to one of the kids, right? So I don't know. That's the hard part. And trying to better yourself, and you trying to do, because you got 3 kids now. You a man. You trying to figure out how I'm gonna do better. But I can't, if I leave them at home and they catch the house on fire. But I took them to McDonald's, to the play area. I don't know.
I mean, to your point, there is a lot of gray area there, and I heard about this story on Breakfast Club, and it was Charlamagne's Donkey of the Day, and so there was a lot of comments about it, because initially I would agree with some of the callers that came in that he probably deserved to be the Donkey of the Day because there was a lot of optics around it that warranted that. Meaning, like, he's leaving him, like, why? I'm out. First off, why not leave him at home? Leave him at home. This and the third. Keeping in mind, you got a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 1-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
A 1-year-old. I think that's what really hit. I probably will be more. It wouldn't bother me as much if it was just a 10 and 6-year-old, because I figure like they could probably maneuver. But that 1-year-old, that was the kind of the X factor in this. Then. He's trying to better himself, get him a job, get him employment, all this kind of stuff is in the third, which is wonderful, and I wholeheartedly understand that. However, it's just there wasn't nobody in the neighborhood that could have, and then the other piece of it was like they live in Georgia, and anybody that's ever traveled to Georgia knows as soon as you get to the airport, what do you see? A lot of signs and billboards and stuff about human trafficking.
Yep.
So unfortunately, leaving those children unattended, you're leaving them open to anything that could happen to them. Now, granted, something could happen to them at the house, probably some kind of bodily harm, maybe falling, but I don't know. I don't know if one is worse than the other. However, I'm just feeling like because I know I've been left at home at a young age. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I guess I'm more leaning towards that one, because I'm like, what's the most can happen? But in a public place, if you're not there to kind of protect them, anything can happen. So that's why I agree with them when people said that, hey, he should have been a Donkey of the Day and stuff like that. But people are very sympathetic, and I agree. He's trying to better himself, trying to get a job, trying to do this for his family. But then I guess there's workarounds. But so then I listened today, and there was a update to this lovely story. So it was also said that during the course of the time that they were at the McDonald's, apparently whoever he was interviewing at was not far from the McDonald's. And so it was said that he kept walking back and forth from wherever he was supposed to be interviewing to back to the McDonald's to kind of check on them or whatever, or looking through the window, see, make sure they was okay. One might say, what a wonderful thing. Then it was also said that there was no job interview, that he was supposed to be dropping a backpack off somewhere, that there's like a nearby apartment complex. So that's what the police report was saying after that. He was supposed to be dropping the backpack off at some nearby apartment complex. Then later to find out that they interviewed the 10-year-old, and the 10-year-old, she went on to tell them that he leaves them alone often. Then a passerby had heard the young man on the phone and where he was talking about dropping off a backpack. So then, fast forward a little bit, I guess the children's mother came, and the way to answer, you thought she might have been at work, but apparently the backpack was supposed to be dropped off to her. The daughter must have had a phone, I'm assuming, because she contacted her mother on social media to let her know that where they were at and stuff like that. And that's how the mom came and picked them up. And so apparently the guy was supposed to drop off the backpack to the mother. When the mother picked him up, I guess had interaction with the father, was like, hey, yeah, I was wondering where you were in dropping this off. However, I told you, don't leave the kids by themselves. So it was no job interview, the moral of the story.
What was in the backpack?
I can only think of one thing, but I don't know. I haven't seen the backpack. I don't know how, I don't know what was in it. But my assumption, it wasn't Pampers.
That's the part where you feel sorry for a person, and then the truth come out. And then you just you make it hard for the people that's really trying to better themselves.
Yeah, because people they started a GoFundMe. I think it was Antonio Brown, the former football player. I don't know if he still plays. Maybe he does. I thought he don't play no more. But anyway, he started a GoFundMe, raised like $40,000, $80,000 for this man or something like that. Don't know how to give it to him because they haven't came. But yeah, so I mean, this ain't the biggest farce that's taking place, and or biggest scam that's taking place, but. And truthfully, it's not really a scam, I guess, because he didn't really scam anybody. He didn't set out to.
He didn't scam
anybody. Yeah, he was just doing his thing. But yeah, so that changes the story a little bit, because now, so you may not be as compassionate for him because you don't know what the real deal, and we don't know what the backpack transfer was or anything like that. But it wasn't a job involved, and so now it's like, well, why would you leave them kids alone for whatever?
Yeah, like that. But see, that's the thing, like you said, because even looking at the store, you're like, oh, dang, you trying to get a job? Woo, 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 woo. Like, my sympathetic side is I've left my kids at home to go to work, and I've seen people do it all the time. But then you get that extra part of the story. You like, bruh, like, you tripping. You got 3 kids and you out here trying to hustle. Like, that's not even cute. Like, no. And then your daughter is hitting up her mama like, we in McDonald's again. Like, come get us. We hungry. You ain't even get us a Happy Meal. Like, 10 years old. She probably like, oh, McDonald's got Wi-Fi. So why is you hitting the mama on the social media instead of calling her on the phone? Like, this is this too damn much.
Yeah.
This is called Ratchet 101.
Yeah, it definitely is. Everybody that was so compassionate, I wonder some of those callers that were calling in, if they still have that same amount of compassion now that the twist of the story has come out. Because initially, that pulls on your heartstrings. Oh my God, he's trying to better himself. Oh, well, he's doing, they had no car, he ain't had no this. He trying to, and then you'd be like, sir, oh, what is it? What you doing?
Bye, Felicia.
Well, and it kind of sounds like the mother had a car to begin with, so if what was in that backpack was as important as they say it was, and he was in fact trying to give it to her and not somebody else, this was all unnecessary to begin with. Like, this is just why. Why?
Exactly. Sounded to me like she was the runner.
She was the runner. He was trying to come up, and he trying to find his own connect.
There you have it. We don't know.
Away from her ass.
Trying to do what?
Get away from her ass. He's like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get what you got. I'm gonna find me another connect. Come in them. I'm leaving them kids at the McDonald's, and I'm about to figure this out.
See, and there you have it. And there you have it. Hopefully some more details of the story come out. I'll be able to share with you guys. But now, we'll see.
We'll touch on that again, sure.
Yeah. All right, so we know we got a lot going on in the political world, right? Jan, we got a
statement.
Yeah, every day there's something new. But our dear DJ Evox has been sharing a couple Republican stories, real Republican stories on Facebook. So, you mind sharing a story with us this evening?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of want to give some backstory, kind of why I decided to start posting these. I see a lot of people since Trump took office, everybody talking like a lot of appealing to the morality of MAGA types. So like, how can you just watch this happen? Why doesn't blank bother you? And people trying to make sense of the world around them, things that they don't understand. And I completely understand where they're coming from. So I decided to start this series that I'm calling Real Republican Stories. And it's highlighting, so far, I've highlighted some of the experiences I had growing up, specifically in my direct family. And the two stories that I've shared so far were the very first time I ever heard the word gay. And it was my father telling my mother that if he ever had a gay child, that he would disown that child. I think I'm not sure that I included this in the Facebook post that I had made, but it was how he said it to her. It was just this level of disdain that I was probably 5 years old when this happened, and I didn't know what that word meant, but I knew it was bad. And because of context, I remember him saying, if I ever had a gay kid, he wouldn't live in this house. I was his only son. I knew who he was talking about. And I never brought that up until just very recently. That was March 16th that I had posted that. And then the next story that I shared was, this would have been probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years later, but I don't think it was quite that long. It was the mid 90s regardless. There was a news story on television, and it was talking about, I want to say it was about gay marriage potentially being legalized in Hawaii. This would have been very mid 90s, 93, 96. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but I remember him saying, he made this face of disgust, and he said they should just round them all up, ship them off to an island, then once they give each other AIDS, drop a nuclear bomb on them. And I knew very much what he was saying, and I also knew very much who he was talking about at that time. And that is the reason I called it Real Republican Stories, is because I know there are a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump that think exactly that same way. And I'm sorry, I did prepare something for this. So I'm going to kind of finish what I started, which is the whole purpose of answering the question that people like us have. People that did not vote for hate in November. And that was, you don't stop trying to make sense of them, because you already know the answer to it. Republicans today are shells of the people that we once knew. They have allowed a cult-like leader to morally bankrupt them. And I know that that sounds really harsh, but I have to stand by that. I don't know that it's necessarily helpful to say that, and I wish I could give people something more actionable. And so that's kind of what I wrote out today, so that I'd have something to talk about today. For anybody that is looking at what's happening in the world and wondering about the people, especially their family, but anybody around them that they know voted for this to happen, and they're trying to make sense of it, just know that you are allowed to admit that the people that you love have disappointed you. We are allowed to acknowledge when those we thought would protect us are actively working to harm us. We are allowed to be or feel unsafe around people even when we share DNA with them. We are allowed to be uncomfortable in a world that no longer works the way it has our entire lives. You are allowed to point out the hostilities that now exist in this world. And circling back to kind of my first point, we are allowed to hold a mirror in the face of those who actively harm us when they act as if they are unable to see who it is that is causing the harm. They will try to spin it. They may tell you that you're hurting them. That's what my sister did on a comment on one of those Facebook posts. They may act like you are offending them. That's what one of my cousins did on one of my Facebook posts. And they may try to suggest that you are the problem. You are not the problem. Do not allow yourself to be gaslit. Do not allow yourself to be manipulated. You are valid. We are valid. And what you're feeling isn't wrong. And you are under no obligation to accommodate someone who is hurting you. That's it.
Wow, Brian.
Baby, when I tell you my eyes is filling up, Brian, that was Will said. That, oh God, that was Will said and well put. That pulled, yes.
Yeah.
Ooh. Very good.
I toned it down a lot.
No. That was straight to the point, and it for the people that get it will get it. And like you said, people are going to point the finger at you to say, you the one.
Yep.
It's your fault. This is you. No, man. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, and so when I say I toned it down a bit, because I'd written another version of that that I just read. And it was raw. It was shortly after my cousin and my sister had commented on... Ooh, did not mean to unpause that. And it was angry. And anger isn't one of those things that communicates well, especially when somebody's reading it. And my goal was to appeal to people's emotions. I know that it won't do anything for the people that I was talking about that are literally just morally bankrupt in this world. But for those of us that are actively hurting, I know that that's a way to feel something familiar, even if it's not pleasant right now. So that was my goal.
Well, I feel like it was very much so well said, and on point. So I appreciate it. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
And thank you guys for joining me in our inaugural episode of Hey Pumpkin. So look forward to doing many more with you guys.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Girl.
Did you freeze?
No.
Tap on your whole computer. Hey, friend.
I'm sure you probably over there you need 2 or 3 Kleenexes and everything. Ooh.
Baby, when I tell you, baby, Brian, thank you for that, because definitely, what's today? Thursday, Tuesday. The things that you are speaking right now, I see it unfold in front of my face, and it made me emotional. Right.
Yeah.
And I was exhausted. I got home and I was exhausted because nobody stood up for this person. And I was literally like, things that this person has done is wrong. I get that part. Like certain things that they might can control, but maybe not can control, but I always just kind of protected them, I guess. But this associate ended up getting fired. But it fucked me up because it was all for the wrong reasons. But and they said, hey, you might have to do it. I said, I'm not doing it. Because who's gonna fight for him? Who's gonna stand up for him? Who's gonna say what you're doing is wrong?
Yeah.
Maybe he deserved something, but now what is he gonna do now that he don't have a job? When do we stand up for the people who can't speak, or the people who can't say something wrong with me, but I can't tell you what's wrong? When are we gonna stand up for them people? And so you saying that's probably why I don't have no voice now, because I was looking at them like, I'm not doing that. Like, no, like something is wrong. And who gonna talk for that person? Who gonna stand up for that person? And nobody stood up for that person. And now that person don't have a job, don't have no kind of way to take care of themselves, because an evil person decided that they was going to be the person to get rid of that person. And he don't have a voice. And I was like, yeah, but thank you, Brian, for real. That just made it, just the way you just put that, and just know that you are working around people who do not care, don't have any empathy, no emotions, will see you dead before they say, I love you, and it's okay for being who you are. And it's unfortunate, and I see it every single day. So maybe
I'm not trying to.
Huh?
I was gonna say I'm not going to try to make this last too much longer, but I will say this: that like a lot of people had reached out to me after I made those posts and said something along the lines of, you know, they almost as if they thought that I was trying to vent or getting like Facebook therapy or something. And what I wanted to tell people was, I'm not sharing these stories to tell people why I am broken today, because that's not the case. I am the person who I am today in spite of those things. I strive, because of those things, I strive to make this world a better place. I struggle to use this word because I am a white man, but I have felt what it feels like to be marginalized. And I want to avoid anyone else. I want to create a world where no one else feels marginalized.
You go.
And that's why I'm sharing what I'm sharing. And I say that to say, talking about your point, talking about my point, it's okay to not be able to focus your energy on every bad thing that is happening. You cannot save everyone. You cannot fix every situation, and that's okay. You can give yourself some leeway that you can't fix everything, and that's okay. Put the effort in when you can and recognize when you can't. That's all you can do.
That's great advice, Brian.
Yep.
Great advice.
Oh, Brian, I didn't even know you was this deep, baby. Oh, Lord, child. Come on, baby. I love it. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, on that note, guys, we'll exit the stage left. Y'all have a good night. Whatever your left is, you don't know your left and your right?
This is my right, sir.
All right. Yeah. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.